I cheated on my ex with a man my mum set me up with and got pregnant. Now I'm begging him to be the dad. But his final words left my family in shock. I'm 27F, and until 3 months ago, I was with John, 29M, for 4 years. We lived together for 2 of those years. John owns an auto shop. He specializes in European cars and does really well for himself. He's the kind of guy who can rebuild an engine blindfolded, but also reads philosophy books for fun. He treated me like a queen. I'm talking flowers every Friday, foot massages after my long shifts, remembering every little thing I mentioned wanting. The man once drove 3 hours to get me this specific pastry I'd mentioned missing from my hometown. But my mother, Francine, never approved. She'd make these comments whenever he'd come to family dinners. "Oh, John, you've got grease under your nails again." Or she'd ask me in front of everyone if I was really okay dating someone who didn't go to college. The worst part, John never bit back. He'd just smile and change the subject, but I could see it. In his eyes, it hurt him. My mum grew up poor and married into money. My dad, Harold, owned several rental properties, and she's never worked a day in her life since they married. She wanted me to have what she called security, meaning a rich husband. She couldn't understand that John made good money. To her, if you didn't wear a suit to work, you were basically homeless. Everything started going to SHT about 5 months ago. Mum joined this country club and met Van's mother there. Van is 34, owns a commercial real estate development company. He drives a Bentley, wears these expensive watches, has a penthouse downtown. Mum became obsessed with setting us up. She'd invite him to family dinners without telling me. She'd accidentally run into him when we were having lunch and invite him to sit. She started comparing John to him constantly. Van just got back from Dubai. Van's company just closed a $40 million deal. Van doesn't have to work weekends like some people. John and I started fighting about it. He wanted me to stand up to her more. I tried, but she's my mum, you know. And honestly, I'm ashamed to admit this, but part of me started wondering what it would be like. Not because I didn't love John, but because I was so tired of defending our relationship. I was tired of the snide comments at every family gathering. The night that ruined everything was a charity gala at the country club. Mum bought me a ticket without asking. Said it was for networking since I work in logistics. John was out of town that weekend helping his brother Rodney move to a new place. I should have just stayed home. God, why didn't I just stay home? Van was there. He looked like he stepped out of a magazine in his tux. He kept bringing me drinks, telling me how beautiful I looked, how Francine had told him so much about me. I was angry at John for not being there. Angry at my mum for orchestrating this. Angry at myself for caring what people thought. So I drank. I drank way too much. I remember flashes, Van's hand on my lower back, the room spinning, his penthouse, his hands everywhere, waking up in KD and sheets that probably cost more than my monthly salary. I threw up in his marble bathroom, not from the alcohol, from disgust, at myself. Van was already dressed on a business call, barely looked at me. I got dressed and left. He didn't even say goodbye. I went home and cried for 2 days straight. When John came back, I couldn't look him in the eye. I told him I had food poisoning. For 2 weeks, I tried to pretend nothing happened. I thought I could bury it, take it to my grave. Then I missed my period. 3 pregnancy tests, all positive. I called Vaughn from my car, parked outside a CVS, holding the tests in my shaking hands. His exact words were, "That's not my problem. Handle it over, you need to. Don't contact me again." Then he blocked my number. I sat in that parking lot for 3 hours. A stranger knocked on my window to ask if I was okay because I was crying so hard. I knew I had two choices: tell John the truth and lose him forever, or lie and try to save something from this Desta. I chose to be a coward. I went to his shop after closing. He was under a BMW, music playing. When he rolled out and saw my face, he immediately asked, "What's wrong?" I told him I was pregnant. I said it was his from before our last big fight about my mother. Thilly came out so easily, it scared me. He went completely still. Then he asked, "How far along?" I said, "About 6 weeks." The timeline could work. Barely. We'd had sex around then. He didn't smile, didn't hug me, just nodded and said he needed time to process. Thatchold had been my first warning. For a week, he was distant but not cruel. He'd text, checking if I was okay, if I needed anything for morning sickness, but he didn't come over. He said he was thinking about everything. Then yesterday, he called, said we should have dinner with my family, said if we were going to do this, we needed everyone on the same page. My mum was thrilled. She thought I was going to announce the pregnancy and that John would propose. She even invited my aunt and uncle, made a whole thing of it at her favorite restaurant. I wore the dress John bought me for my birthday, did my makeup perfectly. I thought just maybe, we could make this work. John showed up in a suit. He never wears suits. He looked incredible, but there was something different about his eyes. Cold, controlled. He shook me dad's hand, hugged my mum, who looked shocked at the gesture and sat next to me. He even put his hand on my knee under the table. After we ordered, he said he had something to share. He pulled out his phone and connected it to a small portable speaker he brought. My mum laughed, asking if he'd made us a playlist. The first thing he played was a voicemail I left my friend Simone the morning after. My voice slurred from crying. "Simone, I effed up. I slept with that guy. Mum's been pushing on me. Vaughn, I was so drunk. John's going to leave me if he finds out. What do I do?" The entire table went silent. My dad's face turned red. My mum started to speak, but John held up his hand. He pulled out printed screenshots, texts between my mum and Van's mother planning the gala, discussing how to get me alone. With him, an email from my mum to Von with my photo, my work schedule, my favorite drinks. She just needs a push in the right direction. My mum had written. Then he pulled out more screenshots. These were from my I'd forgotten he knew my password. Messages to Simone describing the night in detail, saying the baby was Von's, asking if she thought I could pass it off as John's. My aunt gasped. My uncle stood up and left. My dad was gripping his steak knife, so hard his knuckles were white. But John wasn't done. He pulled out a medical document, a vasectomy certificate from 2 years ago. He'd had it done after his brother Rodney had an accident that left him paralyzed. John had decided he never wanted kids, afraid of not being able to provide if something happened to him. He'd never told me because he knew I wanted children, and he'd been planning to reverse it after we got married. "There is exactly 0 chance that baby is mine," he said, his voice completely calm. Then he looked directly at me, not with anger, not with rage, with nothing, like I was a stranger. "You trade something real for a fantasy your mother sold you. And now you get to live with being exactly what he treated you as. He stood up, pulled out his wallet, and threw $200 on the table. For me meal and hers, he said, pointing at me. She's going to need the help. Then her looked at my mother. Congratulations, Francine. You got what you wanted. Your daughter eats someone with money. Too bad he doesn't want her either. He walked out. No dramatic door slam. No yelling. Just walked out like we were nothing to him. Like for years we're nothing. My dad stood up next. He looked at my mum with such disgust I'd never seen before. You orchestrated this. You owed out our daughter. My mum tried to explain, saying Shay just wanted better for me. My dad cut her off. Hack your things. You're not coming home tonight, or any night. He looked at me. I'm disappointed in you, but you're my daughter. The baby is innocent. I'll help with medical costs and finding you an apartment, but that's it. Don't come to the house until I'm ready to see you. He left. My mum was screaming, begging me to let her stay with me. I laughed, actually laughed. I don't fin have anywhere for myself to stay. John's name is on our apartment lease, not mine. I've been staying there the past week, but I knew that was over now. That was yesterday. Today, I'm in a motel room for months pregnant, Googling apartment listings I can't afford. Van's lawyer sent me a cease and desist letter this morning. Turns out he's married, just separated, and they're reconciling. If I contact him or mention his name publicly, they'll sue me for defamation and emotional distress. My mum has called 43 times. I haven't answered. Simone says I got what I deserved. She's right. The only person who texted to check on me was Rodney, John's brother. Just said, "You good?" When I said no, he said good and blocked me. I led the shop today. John's employee, Wayne, answered. He said, John's not taking my calls, and if I show up, they'll call the police for trespassing. Wayne and I used to joke around all the time. Today, his voice was ice. I know everyone's going to ask why I'm posting this. I don't know, maybe because I need someone, anyone to witness this. I had Eamon who loved me, who wanted to marry me, who got a vasectomy reversal scheduled for after our wedding that Hugh was going to surprise me with. I found that out from the medical document. The reversal was already booked and paid for. I threw it away for a man who doesn't remember my name, for a mother who saw me as a social climbing opportunity, for a life that was never real. The baby is moving now. She stood kicking. Yes, it's a girl. I'm going to be a single mother at 27, working a job that barely covers my current bills, let alone a child. Van's made it clear he wants nothing to do with us. My dad will help with medical stuff, but won't let me move home. My mum is getting divorced and blaming me for it. And John's already moving on. His Instagram story yesterday was him at a bar with friends. He looked happy, free. There was a woman in the background, pretty laughing at something, said, "They're probably perfect for each other." I did this, all of it. It destroyed the best thing in my life because I was too weak to stand up to my mother, too pathetic to resist the fantasy of wealth, too stupid to see I already had everything. So, am I the idiot? Of course I am. I'm the villain in my own story. And the worst part, I can't even blame anyone else. My mom might have set the stage, but I walked onto it. I took those drinks. I went to his penthouse. I lied to the man, hollowed me. I don't know why I'm posting this. Maybe as a warning to others. Maybe because I need to see it written out to believe. It really happened. Maybe because I'm hoping someone will tell me it gets better, even though I know I don't deserve better. John, if you somehow see this, I'm sorry. I know it means nothing. I know you'll never forgive me, but I'm sorry. You deserve so much more than what I gave you. You were right. I am disposable. I just wish I'd realized what I had before I threw it away. Update 1 posted 3 days later. I didn't expect anyone to read my post, let alone respond. Most of you tore me apart. I deserved it. Some of you shared similar stories. Those hurt the most to read because I could see how much pain I've caused written in your own experiences. A lot has happened in 3 days. First, my mum showed up at the motel. Someone at the country club told her where I was staying. Small town. Everyone knows everything. She looked terrible. Her eyes were swollen, hair unwashed. She tried to hug me, but I stepped back. She broke down, telling Methus was all a misunderstanding, that she never meant for me to sleep with Vaughn. Just to explore options, Thatch wanted me to have choices. I asked her what she thought would happen when she got me drunk around a man she'd been throwing at me for months. She couldn't answer. Then she said something that made me see her clearly for the first time. At least if you'd ended up with him, this would have been worth something. Worth something. My pain, my pregnancy, my destroyed relationship. It would have been worth something if I'd managed to bag the rich guy. I told her to leave. She refused. I had to call the motel manager to remove her. Cha screamed that I was ungrateful, that she'd given me everything. The manager threatened to call the police. She left second thing. John's lawyer contacted me. Yes, his lawyer. Turns out when you own a successful business, you protect yourself. He wants me out of the apartment by end of month. He's being generous. Legally, he could have me removed immediately since I'm not on the lease. He's also having my things packed professionally and put in storage that he'll pay for 1 month. After that, it's my responsibility. The lawyer also included a document. If I sign it, John will pay me $10,000 in exchange. I acknowledge that I have no claim to anything related to his business or personal assets, that I won't contact him directly or indirectly, and that I won't come within 500 feet of his shop or home. It's not a restraining order, just a contract. 10,000 would help with the baby. My pride wants to refuse it. My reality can't afford to. I signed it. Third, my dad asked to meet for coffee. He looked exhausted. He told me he's been married to my mum for 30 years and never knew she was capable of this. He said heffened more. Emailed she'd been planning this for over a year. She'd researched Van's net worth, his company holdings, his family connections. She had a file on him like he was a business acquisition. He also told me something that broke me all over again. John had come to him 6 months ago to ask for his blessing to propose. My dad gave it enthusiastically. John had shown him the ring, a vintage piece from the 1920s he'd found and restored himself. Not thag, but perfect. Delicate filigree, Art Deco design. He'd been taking jewelry making classes to resize it himself, so it would be perfect. My dad said John had tears in his eyes, talking about our future, about the kids we'd have, the house he was saving for, the life he wanted to give me. My dad said he'd never seen a man more in love. Then my dad said, "You didn't just break his heart, Kirsten. You broke his faith in people. That boy will never trust another woman the way he trusted you." I threw up in the coffee shop bathroom after that. Fourth, I ran into Wayne's wife, Carla, at the grocery store. Wayne is John's best mechanic. Carla and I used to have girls' nights. She saw me and tried to turn away, but I called out to her. She stopped, but wouldn't look at me. I asked how John was doing. Shellowed, but not kindly. How do you think he's doing? He found out the woman he loved was effing another man, got pregnant, and tried to pass off the baby as his, while planning to reverse his vasectomy for her. He's doing great. I asked about the woman in his Instagram. Carla's face changed. That's Thea. She's a veterinarian, brings her car to the shop. She's been interested in him for 2 years, but he never noticed because he and Lee had eyes for you. Now he's noticing. She's good for him. Honest, kind, has her own money, and doesn't give ASHT about his. She started to leave, then turned back. You know what the saddest part is? He still wouldn't be with Thea if you hadn't done this. You would have married you, loved you, given you everything. He would have raised that baby as his own if you'd just been honest from the start. He told Wayne that said he could have forgiven a drunken mistake, but the lying, Theplining, making him think he was going to be a father. That's what KLDM. She left me standing there holding a box of crackers, sobbing in all 3. Last thing, Van's wife contacted me, not through a lawyer directly. Her name is Serena. She wanted to meet. I almost said no, but something in her voice made me agree. She's beautiful, like professionally beautiful. Turns out she's a former model who now runs a fashion PR firm. We met at a park. She wasn't angry. She was pitying. She told me I wasn't the first. That Von does this regularly. Finds younger women usually pushed by social climbing mothers. F's them, then disappears. She said they were separated because she caught him with her sister, her own sister. They're reconciling because of their business interests and because she's pregnant too, for months like me. She offered me money to go away, $50,000 to sign an NDA, and never mention Vaughn again to tell everyone. I don't know who the father is. She said it kindly likes was doing me a favor. Take it. She said you're going to need it. He'll never acknowledge the child. I'll make sure of that. At least this way you get something out of your mistake. Your mistake, like my daughter, is just a mistake. I haven't decided yet. 50,000 would change everything for me and the baby. But it would also mean Van gets away with it completely. Then again, he's getting away with it anyway. Oh, and the woman from John's Instagram, Thea, she's not just pretty, she's stunning. And according to her social media, she volunteers at animal shelters, runs marathons for charity, and speaks 3 languages. Of course she does. John liked one of her photos yesterday. First activity on his social media since everything happened. It was a photo of her with a rescue dog. The caption was about second chances and new beginnings. I wonder if he sees the irony, or maybe it's not irony. Maybe it's just him moving forward while I'm stuck in the wreckage I created. My morning sickness is getting worse. The motel room smells like mildew. My savings account has $3,847 in it. My job doesn't offer paid maternity leave. My mum won't stop calling. My dad is helping but can barely look at me. My daughter kicks constantly like she's angry at me, too. I did this. I keep saying that because I need to own it. I had real love and I torched it for an illusion. Some of you asked if I would keep the baby. Yes, she's the only good thing to come out of this disaster. She didn't ask to be conceived in betrayal and lies. I'll figure it out. I have 2. Tomorrow, I move out of the apartment I shared with John. I'm going to walk through Thos rooms one last time, remembering what I had and what I destroyed. His friends will be there to make sure I don't take anything that isn't mine. As if I would. as if I haven't already taken enough. Ikno, most of you think I'm getting what I deserve. You're right. I just hope my daughter doesn't pay for my sins. She deserves better than a mother who threw away real love for a fantasy that was never real. Update 2, posted 1 week later. Moving day broke something in me that I didn't know could still break. John's friends, Wayne and Tony, were there to supervise. They were polite but cold, efficient. The apartment had been divided with surgical precision. Things in boxes labeled his things untouched, like I'd never existed there at all. I found the ring in my jewelry box, the one he'd been planning to propose with. He must have put it there for me to find. Art Deco. Delicate. Perfect. There was a note. This was supposed to be yours. Consider it a baby gift or sell it. I don't care anymore. I didn't sell it. I can't wear it either. It sits in a box, reminding me of the future I destroyed. The 10,000 from I used it to put a deposit on a small apartment near my work and pay 3 months ahead. It's not nice, but it's clean and safe. The baby will have a room. That's what matters. I also took Serena's 50,000. Judge me if you want. My daughter needs security more than I need moral high ground. I signed the NDA officially. I don't know who the father is. The money is in a savings account for the baby. Every penny, I won't touch it. My job situation exploded. Someone I suspect, my mum, in her desperation to hurt me back, sent an anonymous tip to my employer about my situation. They didn't fire me. That would be illegal. But hair restructuring and my position will be eliminated in 2 months. Right before my due date. Convenient. I've applied to 23 jobs, to callbacks, 1 interview. They asked about my pregnancy, the interview illegally, and I had to tell them. Haven't heard back. Bothers the thing that happened that made me write this update. I saw John yesterday. I was at the OB-GYN for my anatomy scan. 20 weeks, finding out the baby is healthy, has all her fingers and toes. I was alone watching my daughter on the screen crying those weird, happy, sad tears when you see something beautiful. That came from something ugly. I walked out to the parking lot and there he was, standing by a red BMW M3. Customer's car, probably with Thea. She was holding ultrasound photos. Her hand was on her still flat stomach. He was looking at her the way he used to look at me. No, different, lighter. Like she hadn't taught him that love could hurt. They saw me at the same time. Thea's face went sympathetic. John's went blank. I could have walked away. Should have, but I needed to say something, anything. Congratulations, I managed. Thea actually smiled, small and genuine. Thank you, you too. John didn't speak. Just looked at me holding my ultrasound folder. Then he looked at my stomach. Obviously pregnant now. His jaw tightened. Is she healthy? He asked. First words he'd spoken to me since that dinner. Yes, good. He started to turn away. I couldn't help myself. John, I don't. His voice was sharp. Then softer, tired. Just don't, Kirsten. Thea touched his arm gently. I'll wait in the car. She walked away, giving us space. Even now, she was classy about it. John looked at me directly for the first time. I would have raised her, he said quietly. If you just told me the truth from the beginning, I would have been angry, hurt, but I would have raised her as mine. I loved you that much. I know. No, you don't. You never understood how much I loved you. If you had, you never would have thought you needed someone better. You would have known you already had everything. He ran his hand through his hair. That gesture I knew so well. The is 12 weeks. We're having a boy. I'm going to be the father I was supposed to be with you. I'm going to love her. The way I loved you. The difference is, she actually loves me back. I did love you. You loved the idea of me when it was convenient. You loved me when your mother wasn't in your ear. You loved me when you didn't think you had other options. That's not love, Kirsten. That's settling. And the second you thought you could trade up, you did. Every word was true. Every word hurt. I'm sorry, I whispered. I know you are now that you're alone and pregnant and realize what you lost. But you weren't sorry when you were in his bed. You weren't sorry when you looked him in the eye and lied about the baby. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry there were consequences. Hesitated, walking away, then stopped. I hope you learn from this. I hope you raise that little girl to be better than you were. I hope you teach her that love, real love, is worth more than anything money can buy. And I hope she never does to someone what you did to me. Then he got in the car with Thea and drove away. She reached over and took his hand. He brought it to his lips and kissed it the way he used to kiss mine. I sat in my car for an hour, sobbing so hard I thought I might throw up. An elderly woman knocked on my window to ask if I was in labor. I wish I had been. Physical pain would be easier than this. My mom finally stopped calling. My dad told me she's staying with her sister in another state. The divorce papers were filed. 30 years of mahogany, another casualty of my choices. My dad comes by once a week, brings groceries, sits awkwardly on my second-hand couch, tells me about work, the weather, anything but what happened. He's trying. I'm grateful. Simone reached out, said she was harsh before, said I effed up, but I'm not irredeemable. She's the only friend who still talks to me. The rest chose John. I don't blame them. Work is bearable. My boss knows I'm leaving soon. Me co-workers whisper. The father of my baby is officially unknown thanks to the NDA. They make up stories, none as bad as the truth. I've started therapy. The therapist asked me why I did it. He couldn't answer at first. Then I realized I've never thought I was enough. Not pretty enough for the popular kids in school. Not smart enough for the honors classes. Not good enough for John. My mum fed that insecurity, but she didn't create it. I did. John made me feel enough, more than enough, cherished. But I couldn't believe it because I didn't believe in myself. So, when someone who looked like Vaughan showed interest, it validated something sick inside me. Like I'd finally made it to the level I thought I should be at. Except that level was a mirage. And the solid ground I've been standing on was real. The baby kicks all the time now. Talk to her. Tell her about the father she'll never know, not Vaughan. He's nothing but John. The father she could have had if I hadn't been a coward and a fool. I tell her he would have loved her, taught her to change oil and change her world. I tell her he was the best man I've ever known and I threw him away. I tell her I'll do better for her, that she never doubts she's enough. That she'll never feel like she needs to be anything other than exactly who she is. That she'll know her worth isn't in her bank account or her mother's approval or some man's validation. I hope I'm not lying to her, too. Final update posted 6 months later. My daughter was born 2 weeks ago. Labor was 16 hours. I was alone except for Simone, who held my hand and didn't complain when I nearly broke her fingers. When they put her on my chest, still screaming and covered in vernix, I understood for the first time what unconditional love felt like. This, a tiny person who didn't ask to be born into this mess, who deserves so much better than the story of her conception. I loved her instantly and completely. I named her Helena. It means bright light. She's the only light in the darkness I created. My dad came to the hospital, held her, cried, said she looked like May 1, I was born, said he'd be there for her always. He's been true to his word, comes by every other day, changes diapers with the efficiency of someone who's done it before. Sings to her in Norwegian songs his mother sang to him. My mom hasn't met her. She sends money orders, no return address. I cash them and put them in Helena's savings account with Von's hush money. It's up to $67,000 now. By the time she's 18 maybe, there will be enough for college for courses I didn't think I needed. I found a job, work from home, customer service. The pay is SHT, but I can work while Helena sleeps. My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, watches her for a few hours when I need to focus. Charges me barely anything because babies need villages, and Yehave, no village. She's not wrong. I saw the announcement on social media. Thea had the baby, a boy like they knew. The photos are beautiful. John holding Hisson, looking at him like he hung the moon. The baby has John's dark hair, Thea's delicate features. They named him Atlas. In one photo, John is working on a car with a baby strapped to his chest, in a carrier. The caption written by Thea, Atlas's first day at the shop. Dad says it's never too early to learn about German engineering. They look perfect. They look happy. They looked like the family I was supposed to have. I don't cry about it anymore. There's no point. You can't mourn something you killed yourself. Van's daughter, I can't think of Helena as his will never know him. The NDA ensures that. Sometimes I wonder if I should have fought demanded child support, made him acknowledge her. Then I look at Helena and think, why would I want her to know that her biological father saw her as a problem to be pat buff? Better she thinks he's unknown than know she was unwanted. The vasectomy reversal receipt still sits in my drawer. One showing John had scheduled it for after our supposed wedding. $8,000 non-refundable, paid in full. He never went through with it after we broke up. Didn't need to. Thea was already pregnant by then. Life's funny that way. Not ha-ha funny, just funny. I've been going to therapy twice a week. Can barely afford it. But Helena deserves a mother who isn't broken. My therapist says I have to forgive myself eventually. I asked her how. She said it starts with accountability, which I have. Then comes growth, which I'm working on. Then comes grace, which feels impossible. How do you give yourself grace when you destroy everything good in your life? But I'm trying. For Helena, she needs a mother who can teach her about resilience, not just regret, about strength, not just sorrow, about love, real love, not just its absence. Last week, I ran into Rodney, John's brother. He was at the pharmacy, still in his wheelchair, still intimidating as HL. He saw Helena in my arms, and his face did something complicated. She's beautiful, he said finally. Thank you, you effed up. I know, my brother's happy now. Good. He wheeled closer, looked at Helena, sleeping against my chest. That kid's innocent. Remember that when the world tries to make her pay for your sins. Then he left. But the next day there was a package at my door. No note. Inside was a hand-carved wooden rattle. Beautiful work. The kind of thing John used to make in his spare time. I knew Rodney sent it. Small grace from an unexpected source. Helena is crying now. She's always crying at 3 a.m. I barely sleep, barely eat, barely exist outside of, keeping her alive and safe. My body is wrecked from pregnancy. My career is basically over. My social life is non-existent. My mother is a stranger. My father is trying but tired. The man I loved is building a life with someone else, someone better, someone who deserves him. And I'm here in an bedroom apartment that smells like formula and dirty diapers, wearing the same shirt for 3 days, trying to figure out how to be enough for this baby when I've never been enough for anyone, including myself. But Helena doesn't know any of that. She just knows that when she cries, I come. When she's hungry, I feed her. When she's scared, I hold her to her. I'm not the woman who destroyed everything. I'm just Mama. Maybe that's where redemption starts. Not in forgetting what I did, but in becoming someone better because Samia needs me to be. John, if you ever read this, though I know you won't, you were right. I did trade something real for a fantasy. I did betray the only person who ever truly loved me. I did destroy what we built together. But you were wrong about one thing. You said I was disposable. I'm not. Not to Helena, Tower. I'm irreplaceable. And maybe someday that will be enough to start forgiving myself. For now, I just focus on getting through each day, on being the mother Helena deserves, on building something from the ashes of what I burned down. It's not the life I planned. It's not the life I wanted. But it's the life I earned with my choices. And somehow, looking at my daughter's face, I'm going to make it mean something. Even if that something is just teaching one little girl that she's already enough, exactly as she is. That love, real love, can't be bought or sold or traded up. That the best things in life aren't things at all. Lessons I learned too late, but Helena will learn in time. That has to be enough. It's Ali have left to give. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.